So the research indicates that to create a good dynamic warm-up, there are two keys. One of them is increasing temperature, and another one is movement specificity. With the flexible periodization method, we look at 8 areas of exercise to achieve that. And one of those areas is to use exercises in multiple planes. And here we're referring to the sagittal plane, the frontal plane, and the transversal plane. I'd like to show you a lunge combination with especially shoulder flexion and shoulder extension that would act as a very logical, effective warm-up for anybody doing any racket sports, but will also tend to open up the hips for abduction and releasing the hip flexors for lifting. Beyond that, it's a very interesting and challenging combination that is very good for most people's coordination. So initially, it's a regular stationary lunge, and as I lower myself, I lift the palavandal on the same side as the trail leg as I inhale, come back up and exhaling, inhaling and exhaling. For this not to be hard on the shoulder, it's essential to keep the chest up, get the elbow up and inhale. The reason is that it's the same side that I lift the palavandal on, is that it helps increase the hip flexor stretch. So this is mainly the sagittal plane for the hips and for the shoulders. Then we can do the same thing in the frontal plane with a really wide stance, externally rotating the hips as much as possible, making sure that the knees are tracking the toes. And I stay low and essentially do the same thing, inhaling and reaching out, exhale, inhale and reach out, chest up, elbow up, inhaling in the worst, so to speak, ranges. The last component here addresses rotation of the spine. So it's the same pattern with the torso, but if I try to reach forward with the palavandal here, you can see that the spine rotates at the same time. So I stay as low as I can, chest up, elbow up, inhale when the palavandal goes back. And you'll do as many of these as it takes to feel warm. And that's an example of how the flexible periodization method applies auto-regulated training in most components of the program.